how do I put both of us in the brain?
I keep forgetting where I'm supposed to be.
Where you're supposed to be? Okay.
Knocking shit over.
Yeah. Well, I guess we could talk about how ESTPs feel about the community and stuff like that. Basically, because I like on my channel we talked about how Brandon sees the world and how I see the world. I want to talk about how you see the world.
All right. Well, ask me specific questions.
We're gonna talk about like I feel like the most important thing is like when you're learning about people is knowing what makes them really pissed off, so you don't ever do that. Like that's probably the most important thing. Top 5 things that piss you off.
Top 5 things that piss me off.
I'm gonna eat.
Feeling like someone's trying to manipulate me using like fake constructs, like imaginary boundaries, like telling me that I can't do something.
Oh.
That pisses me off.
Like from a guilty perspective?
Like any kind of perspective. Like if you just tell me I can't do something, it just makes me mad. Because I know that I can, literally. So like, yeah, that pisses me off.
So people couldn't like trying to put you in a box, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pisses me off.
Yeah.
I like rebel against all that. People thinking they know what to talk about when they definitely don't.
People that think that they understand things and are making no effort to be open-minded.
Yeah.
I think that another thing is I think the you can see the hero and I connection, like the hero inferior connection kind of comes through because it's like what makes you most energized and most confident is like when people acknowledge that you're capable or when you yourself acknowledge that you're capable. So like on the flip side, when people are like, no, you can't do this, you can't do that, and it's like, that's my whole life essence. The fact that I can do things, that's who I am, and you're trying to take that away from me.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. It's like, what the fuck, I can do that.
Yeah, it pisses me off when people tell me I can't accomplish something.
What was the journey that led you to?
Psychology?
Yeah, psychology.
Okay, so when I was like 17 years old, I was super depressed and I dropped out of school. I had a bunch of like settlement money coming in from my car wreck, so I was like, fuck it, I'll figure something out. Like I just know that I can't take. And it was funny because it was like I had just had one more year left. I was like, I think my way out of it mentally was like, okay, I'll just finish it online.
Oh.
And so I was like, yeah, I'll just move into an apartment and start doing school online. But interestingly, what happened during that time, I was smoking a lot of weed to kind of cope with reality and kind of just get through the day to day. Have as many fun experiences as I could with my friends, and so we just get super high and just laugh and like crack jokes and watch movies and explore the idea of life. And then during this time I met a couple people and they happened to know people, and then before I knew it I ended up in like some sketchy hotel somewhere and there was a bunch of black dudes and we were all chilling around and I was making good friends with them. I was like, oh, these guys are super cool. They were watching anime and stuff. And I've always kind of just like I can understand where people come from, so it's really easy for me to connect with people because I kind of like give them leeway and like I try to like figure out and understand where they're at. And so I start connecting with them. They're telling me like, oh, you're black, this or that, whatever. And we start becoming friends. And funny enough, they were selling coke out of the hotel.
Oh my god.
And so I would sell their coke guys weed because they didn't sell weed. They didn't really bother with it. They'd buy some to smoke, but they wouldn't sell weed. They just didn't bother with it. They'd just rather sell cocaine.
Yeah, it's probably weed is cheaper, right?
Yeah, it is.
Nice.
So like I would just like I made like enough money in that night, and I was like, damn, that was super cool. And I started networking with them because I saw an opportunity. And I was feeling pretty generous too because I had like a bunch of money at my disposal that I didn't really feel like I earned. So I was like, all right, you guys can come live with me and we'll start, like I was like connecting things and I was like, we'll set something up. Like we're all gonna like, we can like feed off of each other in a way, like to have like a symbiotic relationship. And I was just like, wasn't considering consequences or anything. And so that went down. I ended up taking a lot of psychedelic drugs, specifically LSD, and as that kind of story takes place, a bunch of different drama kept ensuing. So like I had to deal with all these people and not understanding them, and I was like, someone had to have had this problem. Like I know someone does, like everyone does.
Yeah.
So I know someone's had this problem and said, let's try to figure out a solution. And early back in my life, like around like me being 13, I'm like in this situation. I'm 18 at the time. I remembered that I took an MBTI test, and I was like, well, that's something. Like, let's reference that and see if there's anything to dig out of it to kind of bring some clarity to the situations that I'm dealing with. And so I started just like surface level researching that and just scouring the internet. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It kind of got me into psychology. It was just like, at first it was like, just like, damn, I have a lot of bullshit in my life that has to do with the way people think and the way they operate. And I needed a solution, and then kind of developed into more of an interest, but still a tool to use.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of pragmatics end up doing that, because affiliatives, they do this thing where they're like, oh, I know how to work the social group because I obey it and I'm part of it.
Yeah.
But pragmatics are just kind of like, shit, I actually have to know how this works.
Yeah.
But also, affiliative people might end up like with this mentality of, oh, you shouldn't know how it works because like, sorry, is this disrespectful?
No, go ahead.
Oh, okay. I feel like they think it's manipulative in order to like
Understand?
yeah. But the thing about knowing psychology is that it actually helps people,
Yeah.
and it's like
Smooths things out.
and if you understand someone, who cares if you're manipulating them, because people are manipulating each other anyway.
Yeah.
They're just doing
with
it.
less precision.
They're just doing it sloppily. It's like, if you're gonna do it anyway, at least do it good.
Yeah. Cause less problems.
Yeah, exactly. And it can actually make people happy and be like, have a very you scratch my back, I scratch yours, because I actually know what you want, and I'm not just projecting on you what I want. And you can have that kind of relationship with people. A lot of people think that STPs ESTPs in general can't be metaphysical in the same way that they think that INFPs can't be smart. But the outer orbit means that if you're a perceiving hero, all of your perception functions have the capability of being like really, really good, because it's all connected to the hero.
Yeah.
And the hero pings off of all these other perceptions. So it's like, if you're an ESFP you actually find a lot of ESFPs, especially, they actually do this thing where they're like, you always see like ESFPs getting into the stones and shit, like the gemstones and the tarot card reading and all that. Like, they can get super metaphysical. They just do it in a very concrete way. And it's like, they're trying to link it. They're kind of taking the lazy route, but they're still trying to do it, you know? And I think that's something people really overlook. Like, demon function doesn't mean that you are bad at it. It just means that you care about it less. And if you're like somebody that's like, somebody who's lazy, then obviously you're going to be bad at it. Or if you just haven't worked at it enough, you're going to be bad at it. But you see people like Conor McGregor and David Goggins and Wes Watson, who are like ENPs, and they're SE demons, but they're like super ripped, and they like are masters of the physical realm. And it's like that. Like, you are a very philosophical person, and you're very into the abstract concepts. Like, you always talk about the willpower, the concept of willpower, and whether or not it actually exists. And that is a very abstract concept, and it's like so abstract that you can't even properly answer that question. Like, I get a feeling that there's like willpower is at play, but I'm coming from a perspective of, I can sense other people's intentions, so I can see willpower all the time. And it's distinctly different from just people's automated responses. Distinctly. Because when I see people in like, oh, hey, you're just, and they're just, oh, how's the weather? And then you see somebody that's just like, I have a vision, I have a goal, and they're just like dead set on that thing that doesn't actually exist. It's like they're straying from the automation.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah. So that makes me think there probably is willpower. Like,
There's an argument for that in the book called Neuroplasticity. What is the actual title?
you're gonna check.
Yeah.
That was a good oh shit, god damn it. That was a good, the way that your body moves is a good reference for like controlled body language, because when you see
The Mind and the Brain. Neuroplasticity by Jeffrey M. Schwartz makes an argument for willpower over materialism. Talks about just basically how the brain can adapt over time, and that if you set yourself to something, that your brain actually changes, and it's under your control to change it. So
yeah, people say that the physical realm and the abstract realm have nothing to do with each other.
they do.
Yeah, they absolutely do. They're always interacting all the time.
That's what I was talking about. That's why I was saying, and make an effort to like assert my presence when I'm walking next to a group. Especially, it's like I know there's a potential there, so I'm going to act as if there is, and I'm going to be ready for it.
Extroverted intuition is often described as like seeing multiple opportunities, but you also see multiple opportunities in your physical environment. So it's kind of the same. Like, it is very much two sides of the same coin, and people really think of it in like a very like flat perspective, even though we're like, oh my god, everything is connected, you know. But especially NE and SE, extroverted intuition and extroverted sensing, they're two sides of the same coin, and it's really cool. But yeah, it's so interesting because you have like very, like, we're both extroverts, but this is a good example of like a starter type and a direct initiating control type. You come off as an introvert because everything you do is like very coordinated and slow and relaxed, and it's like, oh yeah, that's not, because when people think of extroverts, they think of me. They think of, oh, you won't shut the fuck up. You're like, but there's two types of extroverts, and one of them always thinks they're an introvert because they're so like slow and controlled and intentional. It's like, oh, I can't be an extrovert.
I get told I'm an introvert.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Often. Cause,
mostly, actually.
yeah, it's because you have that very calm energy, and when people think of extroverts, they're just like, you gotta be energetic and kind of annoying.
I can be though.
Yeah, you can be. You get little bursts of energy. Just
Yeah.
like
And I think maybe, I don't know how ISTPs would act towards people like just out and about, but I do tend to just like gravitate towards automatically interacting with people in that kind of like SE kind of context, I guess.
yeah.
It's an automatic response. It's my like go-to basically.
What is it exactly?
I don't know. It just feels like an assertion of myself.
Oh, I see. Yeah. You're automatically you're automatically walking around giving it to people.
Yeah.
Yeah. But ISTPs, from what I see, they're very like, they're just kind of there, and they're just like, that's a thing. Like, they're just walking around observing things, but they're not asserting things. They're just observing. Like when my ISTP friend, he just kind of like, he watches people and he just smiles at them, but he's not looking to like impose himself.
Okay,
at all.
I like imposing.
Yeah, you do like imposing. You can very much see that when you talk to people and when you look at them. If you were a little bit more introverted, you wouldn't be looking to like
Interact.
Yeah, and you look directly into their eyes, so it's like, that's very social. And ISTPs might do that, but it's very, very much a go away kind of feel.
Gotcha.
Whereas like, when I see ISTPs, they like go away. But when I see you, it's you like look at you look at somebody and you're like, who are you? You're like, you're trying to get a read on them.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I think that's a good amount of content.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.